All right, guys. This one is interesting. This is not just any Matt Walsh response video, okay? Because there's been some drama internally at the Daily Wire as of the last couple hours. This segment, when I originally planned it, was going to be something totally different. And by the time we've gotten to this segment on stream here, drama has unfolded at the Daily Wire that has led to the topic, or the main focus of the topic, completely shifting. Ben Shapiro is mad at Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh is in trouble. Now, initially, I was sent a video in my Discord this morning. I was recommended a video by Matt Walsh about Mehdi Hasan. The video was called "Failed MSNBC Anchor Mehdi Hasan Wants You to Believe Muslims Built America." And the thumbnail is him looking in the camera, kind of bored and like rolling his eyes. And the caption is, "Muslims did nothing for America." That's the caption. For those who don't know, Mehdi Hasan, MSNBC guy, he left-leaning, like liberal kind of guy, debates a lot of conservatives. The right hates him. The right hates him. Now, Mehdi Hasan apparently went after Matt Walsh in the funniest way possible. He went to Ben Shapiro to try and get him in trouble. That is hilarious. I was originally going to cover that video, the video where, you know, Matt Walsh is being super racist and is like, "Muslims didn't do anything for America. They don't build anything." Which is hilarious if you know anything about, like, human history. Like, the idea that Muslims don't build anything is the most ignorant statement of all time. Because literally everything we've ever built is based on the math that, like, I'm pretty sure they were Muslim, but they were definitely Arab people came up with. Like algebra, like calculus, like, or maybe not calculus, but like like a lot of like fundamental math that we use today was come up with in the Muslim world. So the idea that Muslims build nothing is unbelievably hilarious. Because down to the math we use to build everything, they made that. That's kind of the hilarious thing about it. It's like, it's the opposite of true with the right. Everything. It's the opposite of true. But I'm not going to harp on this for too long. I want to hear about this drama. This video came out 1 hour ago from Matt Walsh. Mehdi Hasan tried to get me fired by tattling to Ben Shapiro. I'm assuming he's not actually going to get fired, but I still like this drama. I still like that this is happening. I find this juicy. I want to look into it. I want to see Matt Walsh get whiny. It's going to be fun. If you guys are down for this, if you guys are excited, and you want to support my stuff and see more from me, leave a like and a comment down below if you please. It really does help a lot, and I appreciate it immensely. Hype the video if you want to help boost it in the algorithm. It really does help. And subscribe if you want to see more from me in the future. With that said, though, without any further ado, let's get into it. Oh yeah, by the way, massive cringe warning. It's Matt Walsh.
The tattletale portion of Mehdi's public meltdown. We've reached the part where he's running to the principal. I'm telling, Mom, Matt's being mean. Speaking of liars, by the way, this was funny. Last week, I responded to the failed MSNBC personality, Mehdi Hasan, who we can all agree is certainly somebody without charisma. And he was trying to explain it all.
I still, to this day, don't understand how Matt Walsh is so successful with how boring he is. Like, he's not an entertaining or charismatic guy. That's the irony in what he just said. But what's so funny about it is you've seen as over time, the editors at the Daily Wire have cranked up the amount of edits used in Matt Walsh videos when they upload them. Because Matt Walsh himself is so lacking in charisma or entertainment that his videos probably have the lowest retention at the Daily Wire. And so they stuff his videos full of Zoomer edits to keep the retention up. Because he's that boring. He talks like a conservative dad. Like, you can't listen to him talk for more than 2 or 3 minutes before you get bored. Or frankly, his smarm just gets to be obnoxious. And I don't think the obnoxious factor is lost on even conservatives. Like, I remember when Matt Walsh got dunked on by his own subs because he made a video denouncing and criticizing Luigi Mangione after the assassination. Dude, the Daily Wire folks tried to come out as anti-Luigi, and their fans were not having it. It was hilarious.
Started because he was trying to explain. He was giving some kind of, I don't even know, he was talking to somebody who asked him a question on camera. But he was trying to explain why the Muslim call to prayer blasting out at 5 a.m. in an American town is just as legitimate as church bells in America.
Church bells going off at 5 a.m. is okay, but Muslim prayer at 5 a.m. is not okay? Like, Matt Walsh is literally just taking a stance against religious freedom in America here. And for, obviously, blatant favoritism and the establishment of, like, Christianity, his religion, as the official religion, the one that gets all of the exceptions in rules around separation of church and state and religious freedom.
And then he went on to say that he is just as American as anybody else, even though he's a Muslim Indian who came here from the UK 10 years.
Yeah, Matt, he is American. Believe it or not, your ancestors came here from not America. And the people who've been here longer than your ancestors did not look like you. So, are Native Americans more American than you? Because by your logic, you're kind of ceding that would be the case. I like when conservatives, in their whole argument about not wanting to let immigrants in and trying to, like, claim they're not real Americans, they let slip that they do absolutely recognize that by their own logic, indigenous people would have more of a right and claim to America and the land than they do. But of course, they are not in favor of any kind of land back initiative. It's just conveniently all of their moral standards tend to align with being pro-white people and anti-brown people. Isn't that convenient?
Years ago to work for Al Jazeera. Okay, he came here in his mid-30s to work in media.
What? Okay.
Well, Mehdi didn't. So I talked about the show. I responded to it, and
what?
Mehdi really didn't.
What? He came here in his mid-30s to do what? How? Okay. Are you just? I don't know how that's relevant to any of this. Is that like an attack on him? Am I like missing a gotcha or like a zinger there that just went over my head, or is he just like stating things as if they're insults?
Like my response that much. He was pretty offended by it. It's clear that he was especially offended when I pointed out that his show got low ratings. That in particular really got to him. So he's been tweeting at me for days now. I mean, for days. He has been posting frantically. And he did a video response, which was really quite low effort and low energy. And
Matt, you are literally, he mumbles. He's like, okay, let me talk like how Matt Walsh talks, okay? Let me give, like, if I wasn't actively projecting my voice in a way to sound like I'm here, I would basically just be talking like this. Like, this crazy guy, Mehdi Hasan, thinks that I'm the bad guy, because I went and claimed that, like, that is how he sounds. He's really slow, monotone, and he mumbles half the time. And he's claiming that Mehdi Hasan is low energy. This guy's a mumbler.
He's also just been tweeting multiple times a day, every day. And it finally culminated last night in the inevitable, right? I mean, this is a guy who, there's just nothing going on. He's like a totally empty person. There's nothing. I think if you were to peer inside.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Good point, by the way. To work in media, then he pauses, realizing that's what he's done too. You know what's ironic about that? Matt Walsh's backstory is way more pathetic than what he just tried to attack Mehdi Hasan for. Matt Walsh. Are you guys ready to see something that is going to change your life if you've never seen it before?
Hard to miss the John.
So, Matt Walsh, before he did this shit, he was a radio shock jock guy. And if you know anything about, like, shock jock radio shows, you know that a lot of what they do is meant to be like, this is the kind of shit you could not get Batman to beat someone into doing. But because they're doing it as, like, a ironic joke for a show, where they've got a bunch of people they feel like are in on the joke. They feel like empowered to do this really bizarre shit that does not age well once the context kind of fades into history. And this is one of those things. I'm sure in context, this was a logical thing for them to do. But years later, looking back on it, well, it just looks a certain way. Enjoy this. This is what Matt Walsh was doing before, at the age of, 35? He got into the Daily Wire and doing political commentary.
Giant swastika tattoo right there.
Ready? Swipe!
Well, we're not going to find out who won. I feel really let down that we didn't get...
The raw video has been scrubbed from the internet by Daily Wire, by the way. This is like a re-upload of a re-upload of a re-upload of a guy's coverage of the video. This is like the only version of it you can find.
Get the wrestling match just then.
They're going to be wrestling out here in
That's
the
Matt
cold, in
Walsh.
the mud, in diapers. And what's on the line? Now, if Tater wins by pin or submission, he wins tickets.
Tater there has a swastika tattoo on his back, by the way.
To go check out Kicks in Easton, along with 9 other great bands. If Internet wins, if he can somehow take down this giant behemoth, man, he will get the opportunity just to spray Crank with mace in the face.
This is not happening with the mace.
It's gonna happen. It's a good.
So yeah, make no mistake, Matt Walsh's career as a failed shock jock radio dude before he joined the Daily Wire is way more embarrassing than anything he could try to go after Mehdi Hasan for.
His mind, I don't...
And we know he knows that because he's had the Daily Wire scrub that video from the internet as much as he possibly can.
And, you might argue it's probably a pretty dark place, but I think it's dark in the sense like there's just nothing happening. Nothing happening inside his mind at all. Just a very stupid, unimpressive person who's failed in everything he's tried to do in life.
The projection. I can see the movie on the wall, man.
So, but that also makes him predictable. So you know exactly what he's going to do. So this is what it culminated in.
Legolas, thank you for the $10 dues. Very much appreciated. Thank you so much, my kind friend. I love you, my friend. Thank you. Said, Matt Walsh's diaper wrestling and Michael Knowles' gay short film are the funniest lore of the Daily Wire. I wonder how much of their fan base would stay if they knew about that shit. That's the thing, man. Obviously, I would like a larger platform because more success means, I'm more financially stable. I got, more attention on me. Attention is nice to have when it's good. There's obviously, selfish motives there. But, unironically, sometimes I just wish that for a moment I could have, 1 million subs. Just for one moment. Just so I could speak to those million people for one 60-second period. Or just show them clips like what I just showed you guys. Even if it all disappears after 60 seconds, as long as I get to reach those people just with that message for that amount of time, I would be happy. Sometimes I just wish I could reach that amount of people to get something, a point, a piece of evidence, a video that's been buried to the audience it needs to get to. But obviously, that's not real.
Tagged Ben Shapiro in a post to try to get me fired. And the basis for this was that I retweeted a bar graph about EBT from some random account that had a bar graph that I thought was interesting. And so I retweeted the bar graph. And apparently, according to Mehdi, this guy posted whoever this random account is, posted something offensive a year ago or whatever. I don't know. The lamest possible pretense.
That's a lie. It's the Jew who opened the door to the West for all the trash browns. That's an interesting way to refer to that statement. It continues to go on as he quotes Hitler with the Jew cries so-and-so line. So this guy's quoting Hitler and claiming that the Jews are letting quote-unquote trash browns into the country. Matt Walsh refers to that for all the audio listeners who don't see the screen as he said some inappropriate things, or he said some offensive things. Sorry, not inappropriate, offensive.
Whoever this random account is, posted something offensive a year ago or whatever. I don't know. The lamest possible pretense. So he tweeted this. Hey, Ben Shapiro, I know you're super tagging Ben. I know you're super anti-Semitism or super anti-Semitism. So just letting you know, an employee of yours, Matt Walsh, is sharing graphs from a card-carrying far-right Nazi-sounding anti-Semite. So we've reached the tattletale portion of Mehdi's public meltdown.
I mean, we all know that internally Ben Shapiro has been like tussling around with the conflict of interest in the fact that he is Jewish, and with each passing day, the right is getting more and more anti-Semitic, and he can no doubt feel how much less welcome on the right he's getting with each day. So yeah, like Ben Shapiro has been firing people at the Daily Wire for being anti-Semitic, in his view. Notably Candace Owens. He fired her ass, or I guess she quit, but they had a big falling out and she quit, and he was gonna fire her because she was being anti-Semitic. So yeah, there's a good chance that, like, as much as Matt Walsh will probably try to do the whole, and of course, me and Ben are so close, he would never fire me. People said the same thing about Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro. If Ben might get to the point where he feels it's personal enough that he might pull the trigger on firing Matt Walsh. Because Matt is a lot more sympathetic to Nazism and anti-Semitism than Ben is, and that's obvious.
This is the part where he's running to the principal. I'm telling, Mom, Matt.
Believe it or not, Matt Walsh, we are not in high school. This is political messaging, and policy and elected officials who represent us in our government matter. And this is not all low-stakes high school drama. So when somebody does something wrong in the world of politics and political messaging, it has effects on people that are far more serious and impactful than anything some nonsense high school drama could entail. And by that logic, this attempt at a poking of holes in calling him out, like contacting Ben Shapiro, doesn't really work. Ben has indicated he is not pro-anti-Semitism. It is very likely he wouldn't be happy about you sharing that person's posts, considering where he stands on the issue of anti-Semitism. So, yeah, the fact is you should have known better. Like, you can rage about him adding Ben Shapiro, but, like, we all know that internally, things got a little more tense behind the scenes.
It's being mean. That's what we've got to. And the funny thing is that, first of all, I'm not getting fired. Second, what does he think it would accomplish if I did get fired? I
will say, I do think the Daily Wire going belly up in the next few years is far more likely than Matt Walsh getting fired. Because, like, the Daily Wire is on its way out, like, very much so. Losing Candace Owens and Brett Cooper was, like, it was rough for them. They might come back. They could come back, to be fair, but they've never been worse off than after losing Candace and Brett Cooper.
Retire from public life, and like, it's not going to happen, but would I retire from public life and never say another word again? Is that what he's hoping for? Is that the plan? Well, that's not how it works anymore. And this is the problem for these people, is that they only have two modes, right? Only two modes. And they have not developed a third mode. It's only two.
Mind you, these are people who will only debate college students. Like, Mehdi Hasan has offered Matt Walsh to debate like a dozen times. Destiny has offered Matt Walsh to debate like 50 times. Ben Shapiro has already backed out of a debate with Destiny. Like, there are countless... Vosh, I don't even know how many times Vosh has challenged the Daily Wire stooges to a debate. They always refuse when it's a figure known for being able to hold their own in an argument online. And so what they want is unchallenged, unmitigated control of the narrative with nobody having a platform that's calling them out. And that's why he is trying to engage in a torrent of personal attacks and attacks on the platform of Mehdi Hasan, but refuses to actually say, well, if you disagree with me so much, why don't we come on here and debate? Because if that happened, at the very least to the more normie, middle-of-the-road viewer, Mehdi Hasan would probably come off looking a lot better than Matt Walsh. Matt has at best a script of talking points, but even those are quite limited. I think Destiny and Shapiro debated earlier this year. Oh, did Shapiro finally follow through on that? Because last I heard he'd backed out. I guess he finally rescheduled and went through with it. I should watch that.
And the first mode, so when you challenge them, and what you got to keep in mind, Mehdi Hasan's the kind of guy he's not put himself in positions in life where he would be challenged. And he's always, he's at MSNBC.
What does this even mean? How would you know, dog? Like, how do you know his life story and how he got to where he is? How do you know how hard he worked to get to where he is?
He was at Al Jazeera. He's like stayed very firmly in these bubbles where nobody would ever check.
Matt Walsh, you did shock jock right-wing radio with wrestling diaper Nazis before this, and now you defend Nazis on Twitter and on YouTube. Nothing. You've been in the same bubble. Like all of these criticisms bounce directly back and apply to Matt Walsh himself and most of the right. And it honestly applies more than the criticism against Mehdi Hasan.
Challenge him. Also, nobody's watching him. Nobody cares. No one's listening to what he says. So he doesn't get challenged. And now...
Why don't you challenge him? Why not invite him on to a debate? You're not wrong that progressive content isn't watched by practically anyone compared to the right, but he's still one of the most prominent progressives out there, for whatever that's worth, so why not bring him on to actually debate the issues?
For the first time, he's getting challenged a little bit, and he can't take it. So he goes back to the only two modes. And the first mode is to call you a bigot, blah, blah. You're a racist, whatever.
If you disagree with that allegation, debate him on it. Debate him on the claim that you're a racist.
That surprisingly not effective. Yelling the word racist at me for the 10 billionth time, shockingly, has no effect. Like, you can say it. There's no reason. You may as well just be.
Do they think that when, like, a progressive refers to a conservative as racist, it's meant to be, like, it's meant to hurt their feelings? It clearly seems to, because they get really mad about it. But that's not the point of that label. The label is used for two reasons. By those that aren't good at arguing or debating, it's used as a thought-terminating cliche. You can basically just say, that guy's a racist, that guy's a transphobe, and people will say, oh, they're bad. And they'll just immediately jump on that against that person or in favor of that person, right? As long as you give them the right label or call them the right label, those that are receptive to that kind of thing will have the reaction that you want. That's how poor debaters, poor arguers use labels like racist. If someone is actually trying to make utility out of the label, to have a conversation about political leanings and where someone might fall on the broader spectrum of political issues, then using the term racist is more often than not being done between progressives or from one progressive speaker to a progressive audience to signal this person is part of X group as a shorthand for having to elaborate in depth about exactly who they're racist against, what particular issues radicalize them to be racist, why they particularly don't like other groups of people, what groups of people they don't like. You could elaborate for a while on that, or you could just say they're racist. And most people who have the same basic moral standards will understand what you're trying to get across without you having to write out a paragraph.
Shouting gibberish. The word doesn't mean anything to me. And all that accomplished was encouraging thousands of people to laugh at him and mock him, which they were doing. So now he's moved on to step number 2, which is the only other thing, which is, okay, that didn't work. Let's try to get him fired. So this is the problem that the left has. That they only have these two strategies, these two moves, and both of them are totally ineffectual now.
Are you forgetting what you just were all defending happening to the largest left-wing speakers in the world of TV comedy? You were all calling for the networks to censor them and shut them down for criticizing Trump. You guys were all calling for censorship and firing. These people were literally Asmund Gold and Matt Walsh and all of these people were doing a mass contacting of people's employers to get them fired campaign for anyone who even joked about Charlie Kirk's assassination. A month ago, these people were engaging in a public, proud, mass boss contacting campaign that they defended, and now they're back to playing victim about it again. They went from, well, the left did it to us, so now it's all fair game, to now it's no longer all fair game, I guess? Now that they're the ones on the receiving end once again?
They've been rendered completely impotent, and they don't know what to do about it.
Asmon's Wallblood.
And it's pathetic to watch. It's also kind of funny, but it's pathetic. Especially in Mehdi's case.
I
it's
believe
really,
you,
really sad. This guy got fired from his job at MSNBC because his show was pulling in 37,000 viewers in the key demographic. 37,000, which is almost impossibly bad. Do you understand? I mean, keep in mind, cable news, a certain level of viewership is baked in. You automatically get. It's like when you sign your name on the SAT or whatever, and you automatically.
This is a big reason why I encourage you guys so hard to support your favorite lefty figures. The right's success feeds them into getting more success. At a certain point, people look at sub counts to determine truth. And the right is sitting on such a massive platform that when people who are relatively uninformed look at an issue and they see the amount of applause and support that the right is getting compared to the left, it influences them, and that leads to the right getting even stronger, which leads to them getting even stronger, and it's a self-fulfilling loop. And the right being able to point at how desperately unsuccessful even some of the largest progressive voices out there are, it's a powerful tool. It's a powerful tool. Like, every hate comment I get brings up my view counts, you know? Like, these people recognize that online, the amount of people that listen to what you have to say makes what you have to say look more valuable. And if you don't have people watching you, no one wants to watch you. That's kind of the situation Mehdi Hasan was in. He switched to a network that was far more capable of giving him exposure to, I guess, his target demographic that would actually be down to hear what he has to say, more progressive than, I guess, the average MSNBC viewer. But regardless, like, you can see now how he is using this whole, you're irrelevant talking point as an attack, and unfortunately it works.
Automatically get points just for signing your name. So, you know, when you count for dentist office waiting rooms and airport terminals, that kind of thing. So a certain amount of it is baked in. Taking those out, was any human in the entire country actually choosing to tune in to Mehdi Hasan's show? It's doubtful. Maybe he had some family members. Maybe Mom Donnie's dad's cousin was watching. I don't know. So very low numbers. But then he gets fired. He tries to become a podcaster. Nobody cares. Nobody's listening. He's making no cultural impact whatsoever. I mean, you could go up, poll 1,000 people. Random people, doesn't matter. You know, poll 1,000 people. Ask them, who's your favorite podcaster? Who's your favorite commentator? Who's someone who's really making an impact on you? 0 of the 1,000 would say, well, you know, Mehdi Hasan.
Literally the entire rest of this video is going to be predicated on, well, if the left was right, wouldn't they have more viewers? So there's not really... I can't really respond to this, because, like, obviously, yeah, no, whatever, like, it doesn't matter. The amount of viewers that a certain commentator is getting does not mean they're wrong or right, obviously. But this is the logic that people that are right-wing tend to use, or people who are centrist as well.
That's my guy. 0 of the 1,000 would say that. And so now it's gotten so bad that he's actually been, like, this week he's been tweeting, bragging about how many views he got on his rebuttal to my video, even though all of his views.
I will say, the fact that Matt Walsh is so fixated on views seems to indicate he's thinking about that a lot, isn't he? He's probably a little concerned about the fact that Daily Wire is itself not doing all that great, like I said, after they lost Candace Owens and Brett Cooper. They were their biggest moneymakers, their biggest view bringers. Like, Ben Shapiro is like really a shadow of his former self. Matt Walsh is actually one of the few remaining relevant hosts at Daily Wire, but once he starts to pitter off, it's over for them as a company.
Are people who clicked on the video so they could leave a comment making fun of him. So all the comments are just crapping all over him.
Alrighty, I don't care about the rest of this video. It's just going to be Matt Walsh bragging about how much more views the right gets and how much more money they make. But knowing that that is exactly why the right does what they do, they just want high viewership and big money, for the left to even rival them will make them angry. So consider hitting that like button and leave a comment down below if you want to help boost this video in the algorithm. Do it for all your favorite other left-wing figures as well to make a conservative mold. And of course, if you want to see more from me, be sure to follow my social medias linked down below, subscribe, hit that hype button if you want to boost the channel and the algorithm for free, and if you want to support me directly, financially, help me keep the lights on and a roof above my head here at the Xander Hall studio, and, I'm a smaller creator, so your direct support always helps a ton. Consider donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or support me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or buy some custom Xander Hall merch through the Streamlabs link down below. Regardless of how you support me, though, thank you all so much for watching, as always, and have a good one.